Hi, Caitlin. Thank you for joining me.
Hello, you're welcome.
So Caitlin is a Mothering Oneself Mindfully Program graduate, such a fun member of our community. And thank you for joining me today to share a little bit about your experience. So tell me a little bit about what initially drew you to the Mothering Oneself Mindfully Program. Why did you sign up?
I think because I want to be a better mom. And I think, not anything, it was more of seeing it and knowing that the word mindfulness, meditation, I don't want to use the word self-care, but like self-care and it's kind of being more present. Like those are all words that had been kind of circling in my brain, in kind of the social media world and people like bloggers that I was following, et cetera. And just kind of resonated with me of like, yes, like I want to spend some time kind of focusing on how I'm reacting and parenting, how I'm mothering, and then like how I'm mothering myself, kind of what does that mean, and how can I, how can I be more reflective? How can I be more present? How can I, just think about more about my actions and things like that. And so kind of when I saw the program and with you and I was like, oh, like this seems like it could be, and being surrounded and if there's other people that are also thinking this, like this could be a nice community. And then, especially like with COVID and other things going on, that it was a nice way of just kind of connecting to people outside of my core group of friends and other moms.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so really you're wanting to be present in your life and present in your role as a mom and kind of show up in a different way, be more conscious in your reactions. And you're like, and I'm seeking other women that do want this. Like, this is, this is not all, I mean, I think women do, but like, you're really committed to it. And I want other women that are committed to that as well.
Correct. Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely.
So how was it? What were your biggest takeaways from the program?
I think the biggest, what are the biggest takeaways? What was so nice.
You're enlightened. You're like, you're completely enlightened. It's amazing.
I found everything that I needed. The meaning of life was found. It was, mic drop, done. Like I'm a perfect mother now. No, I think what exactly kind of, I would say one of the biggest takeaways and was the best thing was kind of almost one of the simplest was finding that community of other women and hearing other people's stories and finding out that like, oh, I'm not the only one that's thinking this. I'm not the only one feeling this way. I'm not the only one, dealing with these issues, either with like my own mom relationships or my relationships with my kids or my partner or that like, I think there was just like, there was almost like a weight released off of my shoulders of like, oh, like there's other people dealing with this stuff. Like, and here's a group that I can come to and be open and like know that they get it. Yeah. And I think that was probably like just the best thing. And then, but then on top of it, you also like started learning more about, again, like how to be more mindful. And, and I've told you before, like I was not the best student. I did not watch all of the videos. So there were those moments, but that's okay. And there's still a resource that I can go back to, and which I have done. But I think that was there. It was a space for me. It was me taking time out of my schedule and making time for me to have those reflections or have those discussions or even just be exposed to different, like you said, like the different discussions about, even if I had missed one of the videos, like just being able to discuss it and hear about it was still beneficial.
Yeah, that's so awesome that it really like put things top of mind, and it was the prioritizing, the setting boundaries around it for you. Right. And I love that piece of, and I said that in the calls of like, it's okay if you didn't watch, right. Because you will still get a lot out of this conversation. Right. And there's a lot of people like, and I have had so many people that have said they've gone back and plugged their way through or rewatched videos because they were more timely or needed at a certain stage of something they're going through.
Right. Like, I think that should be, I mean, we're all busy. We all have 5 million things going on. And I think it's important to not let that get in the way of taking the time to like sign up for this program or to do something. Like, it doesn't matter, like show up the way that you can.
Yeah.
In some ways that's going to, you know, and that's what we do every day in our lives. Like, show up the best that you can. You know, in some weeks it's going to be, you're going to hit 100, and the other weeks you're going to hit 50, and it's okay. Like, and that's, you know, but at least you're doing it.
Yeah. And there's no correlation between 100 equals good and 50 equals bad. Right.
Right.
Which
still
is
learning that
for those. Yeah. It's hard for those good students. Right. Which is a lot of the women that come into the program, and they're like, you know, and I love that piece of how you're engaging with the program is a wonderful mindfulness practice, right? And what the thoughts are that are coming up with, oh my God, I haven't watched all the videos. And it's like, well, that's okay, right? But what is the self-judgment that comes up around that? And yeah, I would thank you for speaking to that. So if there's someone that's kind of like, is this, because you mentioned like we're all busy, right? So if there's someone who's like, yeah, I'm busy, I don't know if I have time for this, I don't know if this is worth it, like, what would you say to them?
It is. I mean, I think and I was, I think I had that conversation, you know, and I was like, I'm going to do this because, you know, and I made like, it's not just for me. Like, I'm going to do it because like, I know Sarah and I like Sarah. And so I'm going to like do it. And then, but honestly, it was the break that I needed, like, you know, and I put it on my calendar at work, and everyone knew at work that like I was going to be gone, you know, for when we did the calls, or like when we did, you know, and things, or in, you know, talking to Kevin, my husband, and being like, I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to, you know, and it's worth it. Like it ended up being, and still is, like my calls that, you know, that I'm still a member and still doing it, is that like, it's something that I look forward to.
Yeah.
And that we all need that. Like, you know, like those things. And I think that that's the other, like, you need to do something for yourself. None of us do enough for ourselves. Yeah. And, you know, and I think that this is dealing with, like, you should be able to do stuff, like, we shouldn't think that way, but we do, but we should. This is such a worthy thing, because I think it's something for yourself, but it's also like, it's so much bigger than that. Like, it's not just like, oh, I'm going to, you know, sit down and do like, take 15 minutes to do a mask, and like, that's going to make me feel better. Like, this is going to make you feel better for the like long term.
Yeah. It's like someone else had mentioned that too, that like, this is when you sign up, it's almost like you're kind of committing to like making this shift for your life. Like you're ready to like show up for yourself, for your life. And right. This is why it's kind of funny that like after a 9-week program ends, like you're not enlightened. Like you're not the perfect mom. Like, cause like that is, first off, like there's no such thing as perfect, but you've planted those seeds and kind of said like, this is how I want to show up. And I want to be someone, I am someone who's going to prioritize themselves and who's going to set those boundaries for myself. Right. It's that,
and it's like,
it's an identity.
Yeah, exactly. And it's about like, and that's the other, I think I feel, like I'm still totally flawed and still working towards everything, but I'm more aware of the choices that I'm making. I'm more aware of the wins that I have. And when I have, you know, other, you know, like when I start spiraling, I can catch myself.
Yeah.
And like, that's, you know, that's huge. That's a huge, you know, it's better to be a work in progress than to not be working at all.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And also like the flaws, it's like, I mean, what's a flaw anyway? Right.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing, to like start to look at it. Well, and I think seeing other women who are doing the same things, that you're like, oh, like it isn't a flaw. Like, I think of it as a flaw, but it's not. Like, it's just normal.
And being a whole lot kinder to yourself in that, which is possible when you realize you're not the only one. Right. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much. I just love, we could chat all day. But thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, and I appreciate you.
Oh, No, I appreciate you.